And welcome to Charlottesville for another Haystack US. Excellent, excellent. So my name is Charlie Hull. I am from Open Source Connections. We host and run Haystack and have done since 2018. And I'm going to be giving you a quick introduction today to how it's all going to work, logistics, things like that, and then a little introductory talk as well, and then we'll move on to our main program. So this is who we are, Open Source Connections. This isn't the whole team. Some of our European colleagues sadly can't join us this week. We've got offices in Charlottesville, where the company was founded, Berlin, Germany, myself in Cambridge, UK, and we've got clients literally across the world. And the sort of things we're focusing on this year are understanding and delighting your users, finding out what they're doing and giving them a great experience. The hardcore search and AI engineering that we all love. And then thinking about people and process, the method of doing search improvement. So yes, and these lovely people here are my colleagues. They're all here today. So if you've got any questions at all, please do reach out to them and ask anything about Charlottesville, the event, whatever. They'll have a blue sticker on their badges, so you should be able to identify them. So how's it going to work this week? Today, Tuesday, we've got 2 tracks of talks. This is our main theatre. This is Theatre 5. We also have Theatre 7, which is halfway down the hall, which is where the second track will be. The talks go on till approximately 5:30 p.m. And we have 15-minute breaks between the talks, giving you a chance to chat, grab coffee, get to know each other, move between the rooms. We've got about 150 people signed up online. So everyone make a big noise for our online participants who are listening. Excellent. 12:30 till 2 p.m. we've got lunch, and that's at your own discretion. The downtown mall here at Charlottesville is a beautiful pedestrianized walkway. We've got restaurants, cafes, sandwich shops, you name it. So find some friends and go and grab some lunch. You've got an hour and a half there. I might, if I get a chance, there's some recommended restaurants I can drop into Slack later, but I mean, to be honest, everywhere's pretty good down here. At 4 p.m., we're going to have some lightning talks. So if you've got an idea for a lightning talk, a 5-minute talk about something you're working on, a cool project, something you want to bring to people's attention, a crazy idea, if you can please direct message me in Relevance Slack, Charlie Hull should be able to find me easily, and I will organize that during the day. And in fact, the Haystack conference channel, thank you, Doug. Thank you, Mr. Turnbull, who's literally just direct messaged me with a talk. Thank you. First off the mark. Also the channel, the Haystack conference channel in Relevance Slack. You're all in Relevance Slack, yeah? Everyone? I hope so. That's where we'll have general information about the event, any last minute changes, that kind of thing. You've got questions, drop them in there. We'll do our best to answer them. And again, if you need any help today or even in the future, ask an OSC host. From 5:45, we're going across to Cardinal Hall, which is about a 10-minute walk just up the hill. And we've got a drinks reception and a buffet dinner for everybody. We're going to be outside, hopefully, and there's a sort of tented area. But there'll be OSC people wandering up that way, so you won't get lost. A few other logistic things. So bathrooms should be obvious. There's some at the top here, just back towards the cafe area. There's some downstairs as well. Speakers, before your talk, if you come to the front and make yourself known to our AV team and our hosts, there's an OSC host in each room who will be also handling questions after your talk. We have a microphone we'll be running about with, but also we've got our online participants who'll be asking questions through Zoom chat, and we'll interleave those questions with questions from the live audience. So really get the online people involved as well. I remember last year we had Dimitri Khan asking questions from Finland, which was quite cool. If you emailed me about an interview after your talk, this is for speakers only, please, after your talk, please come to the front here. There's a camera at the other end of this stage, and we're just going to do a little 5-minute chat to camera. I don't know, what do you think is exciting in the world of search today, that kind of thing. It's a bit of an experiment. We hope it'll work, but please just come to the front. Even if you're in the other room, if you could come to this room, because we only have one camera. Please try not to hang them out in the doorways of the theatres, because there's only one door and it kind of blocks people getting in and out. but you can use the upstairs lounge where you've just been for chat. There are some plug sockets there. Wi-Fi, you should see the code on some bits of paper stuck about. If you're on social media, please use the Haystack Conf tag. And that it's in the bottom right of the slide here. We love to hear what people are thinking of the event, see photos, that kind of thing. It's great. Speakers, please send your slides to David Fisher so we can put them on the website. And all the recordings and slides will be available after the event. As attendees, you'll get early access to those as soon as we've edited them, and then it'll be public sort of a little bit after. And the last one, please turn off your flashes on your phones, silence them. It is a movie theatre after all. So that's the hard stuff out of the way. Tomorrow, we've got another 2 tracks of talks. First one's a really exciting one for us. It's a joint talk between Open Source Connections and our client Moody's on enabling AI-powered products. That's going to be fun. We've got lunch again at slightly earlier at 12 p.m. Our regular Women of Search slot will be at 1:30, just after lunch, which I'm really looking forward to. And then we have our Birds of a Feather dinners. These have been sponsored by Elastic, Pinecone, and Open Source Connections. Hopefully you've signed up for one if you are around tomorrow evening, but if not, there may be some space. I think the Pinecone dinner may have some space left, but hopefully we'll have a lovely dinner there. Thank you so much to Elastic and Pinecone. We really appreciate it. And then Thursday, some of you will have gone to the Getting Started with Search workshop yesterday at the OSC offices. We have another workshop that's actually really popular. We've completely sold out, Measuring Search and AI. It's going to be led by my colleague David Fisher at the Omni Hotel. That's just this end of the downtown mall. It's the big sort of orange hotel building. Just if you go out the end there, there'll be signs. And for others, we're doing a Search Hack Day at the OSC offices. Again, we've got loads of people signed up for this. You'll be able to sit and work with some of the top names in search. I think that's really exciting. It was great fun last year. I don't know what we're going to do or build. You know, we need some ideas, so have a think about that. It's about a 10-minute walk from here, at the other end of the downtown mall. And this is something very important. Thank you to everyone who submitted a talk and who's speaking today and tomorrow. Obviously, Haystack wouldn't be great without talks. This is kind of the center of all of it. We really appreciate the effort you put into preparing your talks and your slides, and we really couldn't do without it. And again, a great shout out to my colleague David Fisher, who handled the call for papers process. We keep this as anonymous as possible. We really want the best talks to make it through the process. Even OSC people have to go through the same process, and I don't even know who the reviewers were this year. So we keep it as open as we can. So thanks again. So that's the logistics, the introduction. But we're not going to have a big flashy keynote this year, but I thought I'd just do a little talk today, and I wanted to theme it around people. Now, over the last few years, you might, working in this field, you might have thought we're all going to be replaced by robots, by AI. The rise of AI has been astonishing, as has the rise in LinkedIn posts written and illustrated by images like this. I mean, literally, my feed in LinkedIn is just hundreds of these things day after day. But we have to remember software is written by people. And I'd like to talk briefly about those people, our search community. So we all say that we stand on the shoulders of giants. And I've been really lucky in my career to meet and work with some of these amazing search people. Stephen Robertson, one of the parents of BM25. He was living in Cambridge. I was running a search meetup in Cambridge, and this white-haired old chap on his bicycle arrived at my meetup, and he looked vaguely familiar, and was like, Stephen Robertson. But yeah, lovely chap. I worked briefly with Martin Porter, author of the famous Porter Stemma, which was written in a language called BCPL. Anyone remember BCPL? You're showing your age slightly, but glad to see somebody remembers it. The ancestor of languages like, C. Anyway, Martin White, a great friend of mine, author of many books on enterprise search, mainly from a business perspective. Very pleased to consider him a mentor. He also started a thing called the Search Network, which some of us OSC people are part of, a grouping of worldwide search experts. And then more recently, Doug and John for the Relevance Search book, which of course you'll be familiar with. And there's other books, of course, other books, and very excited to hear from Trey Granger that the AI-powered search book is very nearly ready for publication. It's been a long time coming. We might be really looking forward to that. But there's other people as well. Someone I read a lot on LinkedIn and Twitter is Joe Christian Bergen from the Vespa team, who gives a very realistic, very deeply argued, very mathematical explanation of a lot of the things we need to know in search and AI these days. So, huge props to these people who get out there and really push the knowledge out. And then we have all the DevRel people, the DevRel elves, I call them, from places like Weaviate, Pinecone, Quadrant, Elastic, OpenSearch. They are everywhere. They pop up at conferences, excitedly telling you about these, wonderful new developments and writing blog posts and example code, and it's great. The energy of these people is astonishing. Not sure I could do it, and we really appreciate them kind of showing the way to some of the new developments. But sadly, we also lose people. Simon Hughes, some of you will have met, and I think many of you will have learned from. Simon worked at Dice.com, Home Depot, and most recently Vectara. Simon was always happy to share his knowledge. He gave multiple presentations at Haystacks. He was very active on Relevance Slack. And we lost him, sadly, suddenly and unexpectedly last year. We do all very much miss him. I was lucky enough to have dinner with him last year, and it was a great shock to hear. So we thought we'd do something to memorialize Simon. Working with Vectara, his most recent employers, we came up with this idea of the Hughes Scholarship. And the idea of this, it would support people who wouldn't otherwise be able to come to a Haystack conference. It would support their, the ticket price, some travel costs, and also give them some other things like some free places on our OSC training courses. And Vectara have a SaaS platform with credits, so they have some credits as well. And it's open to those at the beginning of their career in search and AI. And we've been a bit vague about that. You don't have to be a student or not a student or employed or not employed, but somebody at the very beginning who needs that kind of boost and help. This year, we had 13 fantastic applicants from across the world, and we judged them on financial need, learning need, what they thought they need to learn, and their ambition as well, how they describe themselves and what they want to do in search and AI. And my fellow judges were Armin Ahmad of Vectara and Erica Cardenas of Weaviate, who gave a fantastic talk last year in the Women of Search slot. So thank you both for helping with the judging. And it was sponsored by Vectara and OSC. And so I'm very happy to announce our winners this year, Maya Ziv and Ujwal Maheshwari, who are both here today. Say hello, are you here? Excellent. I'm sure you'll make them both very welcome, and I'm really hoping they have a fantastic time this week. Sadly, Habib Shopju, who was placed first by our judges, couldn't get a visa in time to get to the US. So he was happy to pass on his place, but he is joining us online from London. Hello, Habib, hope you can see us. And he also, we're giving him some of the training place and Vectara credits. But this is the first time we've done this. The response has been amazing, and I hope you agree. It raises some kind of memorial to our dear old Simon, and we'll hope this carries on. So other things about people, Relevance Slack. About 6 years ago, we started a small Slack group to bring together people who'd come to the first Haystack. I think pretty much everyone who came to the first Haystack joined up, and it was literally 50 people. It's kind of grown since then. It's been an amazing resource, and I think particularly during the pandemic years when we were all disconnected and unable to meet in person, it was a huge help to kind of keep connected with your colleagues in search and relevance. There are channels and everything. There are channels on different engines, on vectors, on e-commerce search, on jobs and events and everything. And it's really still very active. I'd like to actually thank everyone who's answered a question, suggested something useful, posted a job, and even made a dad joke or two. I think that may have been you, Doug. And I do support the cause of dad jokes. So yes, my children don't like them, but never mind. And I'm very pleased to announce that literally in the last day, we've hit 5,000 members on Relevance Slack. Look at that, I can do animations as well. But also the person who was the 5,000th member is here today. Paul Louis, you were the 5,000th member of Relevance Slack. So long may it continue, long may it grow. It's a great central place for us to hang out, well, in between conferences. We'd love to go to search conferences every week, obviously, but apparently occasionally we also have to do some work. And this is a place to hang out in between. A subset of Relevance Slack is the Women of Search group, and this was started back in, I think, 2022 by a small group of women working in our sector and thinking about addressing, what's obvious to all of us, the gender imbalance in search, in IT, and to see what could be done. And a particular mention to my ex-colleague, Atita Aurora, who's been hugely active in this group in Europe in particular, and to Audrey, who you'll hear from tomorrow in the Women of Search slot at 1:30 p.m. They do things like training opportunities, mutual support, putting conference talks together, helping people maybe give their first conference talk, and mutual support. And it's not just women; there are allies in the group as well. It's very important. We have a dinner on Wednesday night sponsored by Pinecone, and the theme is celebrating women of search. But again, you don't have to be a woman to attend, but it's really to kind of focus on that. So thank you, Pinecone. We are only a small corner of the IT industry, and we know there's historically a massive gender imbalance. But I think this sets an amazing example of what you can do if you try. And remember that we have every Haystack, there's a photo. So this year, again, there'll be a photo. This was Haystack Europe a few years ago, and Haystack Europe again last year. And this was last year at Haystack US. So there'll be a photo, I'm guessing, probably after the Women of Search slot tomorrow. And please join in, as it's great to mark the occasion. I couldn't talk about people without talking about my OSC colleagues. John Waddell, the cider maker, an old-time musician. Rene Kriegler, linguist. He speaks lots of languages, including Swahili, and the best Berlin tour guide you'll ever have the pleasure to be guided around Berlin by. David Fisher, the professor, the educator. Scott Stoltz, the reluctant skier, I believe, and an OSC co-founder. Raj Shahani, the nattily dressed New Yorker. Jennifer, who's our financial controller, who is the best at adding up all of us, luckily. And Eric, again, OSC co-founder and owner and woodworker. Eric makes things out of wood. And there are two colleagues who are not here today, sadly. Daniel Wrigley, who's a marksman. He competes in air pistol shooting competitions, so don't annoy him. And also Matthias Kruger. They're not with us today, but just wanted to shout out to them. I'm very lucky to be part of this team. And of course, I'm Charlie Hull, the juggler. That's how most people know me. But what about your search team? And really how you work together as a search team is vital. So I think there's various people in a search team. I mean, firstly, we have the relevance engineers, the people really with their fingers in the search engine, but it's not just you. Just because you know your way around a solo config file or Elastic DSL doesn't mean you're the only person that's important on the search team. We've got the search product owners, people who kind of own search, people who drive the change, really important. People who don't know they're in the search team. So, content authors, managers, UX designers, they all contribute to search, but they probably don't necessarily consider them part of the search team. They just dip in occasionally, but they are important. We always say, if content is terrible, you're still not going to be able to fix it with search. So that's a really important part. The people new to search, the last few years, we've had this whole swathe of people turning up who have come to search maybe from ML or the AI side of things, data science, and they're suddenly coming into our community and discovering, what matters in search, and sometimes some of the problems, we have actually already solved. And there's, it's a great coming together of two worlds, I think. The biggest search teams, and two examples here, our clients, Otto in Germany, Europe's biggest e-commerce sites, I think they've got well over 100 people in their search team. In fact, they've got multiple teams. And Home Depot legendarily has one of the biggest search teams you can possibly imagine. But this brings its own challenges. If you've got multiple teams all working on search, how do they communicate? How do they collaborate? What are the dependencies? So, having a massive search team is, doesn't always make things simpler. Sometimes it makes things more complicated. It's one of the things we do at OSC is help work with search teams, help people make their search teams efficient and effective. The smallest search teams, sometimes it's a handful of people. Sometimes search isn't considered very important by the organization, and therefore you're expected to do a lot with, very few people. In fact, sometimes it's just you on your own running search for a massive organization or a small organization. But I will say, a message from the rest of us here, we've got your back. With friends today, you'll be able to hopefully take a lot away from this event and maybe not, feel quite so lonely when you go back to your business and you're the only search person. And lastly, the people of Haystack, everyone who's come this week. By coming together to share knowledge, and Haystack's always been about this spirit of sharing knowledge. Again, we don't take sponsorship for the event. We have a neutral, anonymous CFP process. We want the very best talks. We want people to learn from each other. We want you to tell you the stuff that works, but also importantly, the stuff that doesn't work. And by coming together to share knowledge, you're actively pushing the state of the art forward. That's important. By coming here, you've made a choice to try and make search and AI better. And I think, well done all of you for making that choice. And I think, my last message here is really, take care of your people and they'll take care of search. Thank you very much. So that's my little mini, not really a keynote to kick us off. We're going to have a short break now, and our first set of scheduled talks will start at 1:45. In here, we have one talk, and then we have another talk in the other theatre. So please check your schedules. They're also posted on the doors. And I hope you have a wonderful Haystack. I look forward to meeting as many of you as I possibly can. And do please forgive me, I'll be buzzing about all over the place so I may not have 30 seconds with everyone. But welcome to Haystack, and I hope you have a fantastic week.